Hey everybody, Mike Price here for Community Pioneer. I am with Superintendent Chad Williams, Superintendent of the Shelley School District, and we're here to talk about the upcoming bond election. Superintendent, thank you so much. Could you tell me a little bit about this bond and what it is you're hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you very much for covering this story. And it's my goal that as many people can hear about this bond as possible. I believe that the more informed voters we have, the better. And ultimately, what our plan is with the bond is to try to get through 7 years. We kind of have a 7-year plan, and we want to be we have 3 goals with this bond. We want to be financially prepared to build a new high school in about 7 years if needed. Currently, we're not in a situation to build a new high school, but in 7 years we will be if this plan goes through. Another goal we have is we have a 10-year plant levy that's expiring. So we've had $390,000 for the past 10 years that the community has supported, and we use those funds. A great example is a boiler. When we have a boiler go out in the school district, it costs about $60,000, and we don't have funds to pay for something like that unless we have a plant levy. So our goal is to put something in place to replace that plant levy. Our third goal is to complete a bunch of projects over the next 7 years, projects that need to be completed, and those are the 3 goals that we have that we hope to accomplish with this bond.
Fantastic. So how much are you asking for and what is that going to do to people's tax rates?
No, for sure. So all of the information that one would need is on our website. So if there's any details that maybe I don't address, I would invite anybody to hop on our website. So the school board has ultimately, and we've decided that the most financially responsible way to accomplish all of these goals is to ask patrons to support a $7.5 million bond. And I need to address maybe why right now. There's a program called Bond Equalization that started back in 2002, and ultimately what it is the program that the state has that will help us pay 28% of our bond payment. To explain it, the best way I find to explain it is to compare it to our mortgage. As I pay my monthly rent or my monthly mortgage, if somebody volunteered to pay 28% of my mortgage, that would be awesome. It sounds almost too good to be true, but that's really how the bond equalization program works.
And is that a federal program? Is that a state program?
It's a state program.
Okay.
And yeah, so when we only make our bond payments annually, but when we go to write that check, the state pays 28% of it. So I would say that's the main reason why we're going to take the bond route instead of the plant levy route, which we have for the past 10 years.
Okay.
So the way it's going to affect taxes is on a $300,000 home, you can take your homeowner's exemption, so it's going to subtract $100,000 from that value, and you pay taxes on $200,000. Ultimately, in that situation, it's going to be an increase of $118 per year. The bottom line is taxable property at $100,000 is going to cost somebody $54.11 per year. I'm double checking to make $59.11 per year.
Okay. And so that's going to be added on to their property tax.
Correct. If this bond increases, if the bond passes, it will be an increase of $59.11 a year.
Okay, so with this money, if it passes, what are your plans?
So for sure, our plans are, number one, continue to have money available for annual maintenance. And I would say number 2, finish the 7-year projects. So the 7-year projects, I can't remember if I mentioned it, but we sent out a community survey back in October. First of all, when I came here 20 months ago, I've really been focusing on the condition of our facilities. That's one thing for sure, and we've come up with a list of projects that we believe need to be done over the next 7 years. Threw those out to the community, see what kind of support they would have, and we have that list, and it's accessible on our website. And so our goal is to accomplish and complete as many of those 7-year projects as possible.
What are some of the immediate needs then that would be used?
I would say the top, I don't know if they're necessarily the most important, but the most expensive 4 are, number 1, the annual maintenance. And in my opinion, it's also the most important. We are going to have a boiler go out sometime next year.
That's what keeps the schools running.
Exactly. Bus purchases, just maintenance issues that come up. So we definitely need that. The second most expensive one is to update the HVAC system at Hobbs Middle School. If you're at Hobbs during the fall, you know that it's pretty warm. And if you're there during the winter, you know that it's probably not as warm as you would like it to be. The second most expensive of those projects is to update Goodsale Elementary to be our new kindergarten center. And then the third most expensive is to replace the roof on Sunrise. Sunrise, by no means does that roof need replaced tomorrow. It'll probably be actually one of the last projects that we complete, because in about 7 years we think it's going to need replaced.
Okay. And so why are we going this route instead of perhaps adding on to some of the existing schools like Sunrise?
No, for sure. So when I give this presentation, and I invite everybody to go to our frequently asked questions on our website, that's one of the most popular questions, is why don't we, and I'll just talk about kindergarten real quick, why don't we just add 4 classrooms onto Sunrise? Because the Sunrise and Riverview were both built with wings, and that you could add on to them. As we weighed the options of what the best thing to do for the kindergarten center, some of the reasons why we didn't choose to take that route to add on to Sunrise. Number one, price-wise, it's going to be comparable. We think the Goodsale route will be a little bit cheaper, but not substantially. It'll be comparable. If we added 4 classrooms onto Sunrise, if you go to Sunrise, and I try to be there, I'd go eat lunch with the kindergartner, or excuse me, the first and second graders once in a while. The lunchroom is full. The gymnasium is full. The library is full. The infrastructure inside, I wouldn't say it's very advantageous to add 80 to 100 more kids to the current infrastructure that we have. So that's one reason that we've decided not to go in that direction. Another reason is I don't want to, as the superintendent, I don't want to have these huge elementary schools that turn into factories. I want these smaller elementary schools where the principal knows every kid by name, more of a community feel. And so that's another reason why we've chosen not to add on and make these elementary schools that we have bigger and larger.
Okay, so let's talk about Hobbs, and I think Goodsale as well. Loth of those schools are rather aged. So what's the reasoning behind trying to fix some of those? Because for me, as a local here, it kind of feels like maybe Band-Aids are being put on a bigger issue.
You're nailing the most popular questions here, Mike. No, so let me talk about Hobbs real quick. If you go to the frequently asked questions, what we did, we went out and researched to see, okay, what if we did want to replace Hobbs instead of update the HVAC system? We really feel like Hobbs is structurally sound. We've almost replaced all of the roof so that it won't leak anymore, and we really feel like it's a good functioning school and can be in the future also. And if we update the HVAC system and make a couple of technology and security issue changes, we think we can have that building updated for between $2 and $3 million. If we went out and I just compared Sugar Salem is currently building a new junior high, and the new Thunder Ridge Middle School is going to be Black Canyon. Just comparing prices, it looks like we would have to pay around a little over $20 million to get a new building. So when we weigh that $2 to $3 million versus a $20 million, and then also, truthfully, currently we're not in a financial situation to be able to build a brand new school. And so when we weigh all of that, that's why we've decided, no, let's go ahead and keep Hobbs and have it be a long-term solution. And I'm not talking short-term, I'm talking a long-term solution, a building that we can use in the future. Jumping to Goodsale, we have taken a few steps to get that building ready. It's currently being used as a district a special services center, and my goal is to have it be our kindergarten center for 7 to 10 years, and then after that possibly a district service center like we kind of planned originally. But the same thing, that building is structurally sound, and we've made changes to it, and we also plan to make sure that those classrooms are nice, functioning kindergarten classrooms. In order to have our kindergartners go from from Sunrise over to Goodsale, they're going to have to be nice, and that's what we want. We don't want classrooms that are not nice learning environments for kindergartners and their teachers.
Okay. Could you explain a little bit what a district service center is and how it's currently functioning?
So yeah, currently the District Service Center is also known as Goodsale, is our board. We have our boardroom over there, and then we also have our high needs students with special needs, students that are wheelchair bound, nonverbal, and then we also have a program over there which is very neat actually, that we just have some students that just need a little more guidance and more training just on behavior and how to handle it when somebody is mean to them or in class or something like that, and they just need more practice, and they receive those services over there.
Okay. Okay. So another question I've got, how does this bond help you save money or have money for a possible new high school in 7 years?
No, good question. So ultimately, we're going to put ourselves in a position to be debt-free in 7 years. And so at that point, based on we have a municipal advisor, so based on his projections, he said we'll be debt-free, and if our market value grows at a predicted conservative level, we're going to be in a position that we can have the capacity to bond for a new high school if needed.
Are we going to have space between now and 7 years as this community continues to grow?
Yeah, I wish I could predict that question. No, we have definitely, I've spent a lot of time trying to predict that question. We currently have a few classrooms in each one of our buildings that have room so that we can absorb some growth. I've talked to Jefferson School District and Bonneville School District to see how they are predicting growth, and they have told me, listen, we've hired these outside agencies and paid them a lot of tens of thousands of dollars so that they can help us predict, and they said your best indicator is just look at your annual growth of how it is each year. I also had a group of graduate students from Boise State do a project, and I asked them to answer the question, when somebody moves into Shelley School District into a house, how many students are they bringing? And so I'm taking all of that information and trying to predict. But bottom line is, I hope that we have enough room to absorb growth in all of our buildings. Having Goodsale as a kindergarten center will definitely help. And if that can get us through 7 years, great, we'll be ready to build a new high school. If not, we might have to go the route that other school districts take when they get an influx of growth and go the modular way for a few years.
So what happens if the bond fails? And with this bond, I understand it needs a supermajority. It needs 63%?
Correct. So did you say 60? It needs 66.6666%. So
Okay.
we need a supermajority for a bond to pass. And we definitely weighed the option with the school board, because with the plant levy for this amount, we would only need 60%. But when I talked about the bond equalizations, paying 28% of the bond, that equates to a little over $2.1 million in savings. And so that's a chance we're taking, but we feel like, believe the board feels like it's worth the chance to try to save local taxpayers $2.16 million if we can get a 66.67 approval rate. If it doesn't pass, probably the options, I can come up with 4 options. The first one is we could just try the same bond again in May. It's going to be a discussion we're going to have with the school board on all of this. We could try a lower bond in May so that we can still take advantage of the bond equalization. The third option is we could try a $7.5 million plant levy, which would be divided by 7 years. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow because we're walking away from the savings of $2.16 million. And then the fourth option would be to just ask for a lower plant levy. Historically, we've had a 10-year, a $390,000 plant levy. Would that need to be increased? Probably at some level. I'm not sure at what level yet.
Okay. And so say this does pass. How long are taxpayers going to be paying for it?
7 years.
It will be paid for in 7 years.
Yes, that we currently have one bond that we're paying off. I think that the school district combined a few different projects a few years back and consolidated the loan, which was a good thing because interest rates have been great. Anyhow, that bond is going to be paid off in 6 years. And if this bond passes, it will be paid off in 7 years. And we'll be debt-free and in a position to build a new building.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else you think you would like the public to know about this?
I think you've asked me really good questions, and I've addressed all of the most popular questions, and I would just want to invite everybody to vote on March 9th, and I challenge you to take your friends, and make sure that they are also well-informed. The more well-informed voters we have, I believe gives democracy the best chance to function.
Okay. Fantastic. Superintendent Williams, thank you very much.
Thank you.